Democrats used to own the future-oriented aspirational vote. They were seen as naturally allied with high technology and youth culture. The triumph of Clinton and Gore represented the ascendance of Atari Democrats who championed high technology and promised to reinvent government. Obama was the overwhelming choice of Silicon Valley. It was Obama who canceled NASA's costly and ineffective Constellation program, opting to give SpaceX and others a shot at doing the job at a fraction of the cost, which they have done. What changed?
The Democratic Party, and by the Democratic Party, I mean the politicians and leaders of the Democratic Party, are still struggling to understand what happened in this last election and why they lost. And there's a lot of different theories and speculation going on about why the Democrats lost to someone like Trump, of all people, in this past election. And one of those theories is about financial reasons.
Second, the working class is not overwhelmingly anti-capitalist. When he was running for president, polls often showed that Bernie Sanders' economic ideas, such as Medicare for all, were more popular among college-educated voters rather than working-class ones. Trump's anti-statism appeals to outsiders who feel that the system is corrupt and inefficient.
Now, like everyone else, I have my own speculations, and I half agree and half disagree with what's being said here. I think that the right-wing working class does realize that the system is set up for them to not succeed, not thrive, not make any more money. It's rigged against them, and they want someone to fix it. That much is true. I don't think that moving further left has cost the Democrats anything, and I really don't think we have moved very far left. I gotta be honest, and I know I've said this before in other videos, our left is the global center. So Bernie Sanders in most of the developed world outside of the US is considered just left of center. He's not an extreme leftist anywhere but here. I think what's happened is, and this has been happening since the era of the Jim Crow laws, the establishment, and by that I mean the top 1% richest people who are running everything and trying to keep things the way they are so they can stay rich, have done a really good job at drumming up the culture war to convince the poor left and the poor right that they are each other's enemies instead of being able to band together and develop class consciousness. And I think that the Democrats still represent the establishment. It is the same old, same old, same old, same old. And I've made this argument in other videos too. Their argument is, well, at least we're not Republicans. That's not a good enough argument for anybody anymore. You got to do better than that. And while Trump was a terrible choice, people on the right were looking for someone to go against the establishment. Does Trump do that? No. But he pretends to. He pretends to be populist. He pretends to be anti-establishment and on your side. And they wanted something different, something to shake the status quo, because they were tired of the status quo, which is designed to keep them from thriving and honestly making it hard to survive. And historically, if you describe certain leftists or far left policy proposals to people, but you don't tell them it's far left, you don't tell them it's socialist, they tend to like it. People want access to healthcare. People want cheaper groceries. People don't want government overreach, but they do want the government to take care of them. But instead of going populist and offering up those kinds of policies, the left went, why did we lose? We didn't have our own influencer.
Quote, Republicans built an ecosystem of influencers. Some Democrats want one too. Democrats were badly outflanked online in the election, and progressive influencers are now trying to create networks to be a left-wing answer to Turning Point USA. The CEO of one company trying to launch liberal influencers told The Times, quote, we got killed in alternative media. Republicans have been investing in that space for years. And on the left, we've treated creators who are not in legacy media as gig workers.
I understand they're making this argument because of especially one demographic, which was young, particularly white men in this country who essentially got red-pilled online on social media by all these different podcast bros and ended up voting for Trump. I do not think that our own influencer or horde of influencers would have made any difference. You cannot tell me that if we had had our own Joe Rogan, our own Elon Musk, that we would have had it in the bag. Because that, I guarantee you, that would not have worked. The Democratic motto for this election was, don't elect the Nazi, elect us. Don't elect the Nazi. And while that's a good motto, you don't want to elect the Nazi, you have to, if you want to win over the people who want to vote for the Nazi, you have to talk about what you're going to do for them. Trump talked about what he was going to do for them. He's not going to do it. He's already walked back some of his promises. Oh, I'm going to lower prices at the grocery store. He's already said he can't do that. He doesn't want to do that. That's what he means. But you have to tell them what you're going to do. What are you fighting for them? Because he became their champion. He was fighting for them. Whether or not he was going to do it was irrelevant. That was the message. We didn't have that.
I think Democrats need to find a message first. What is their message to voters? That I don't understand. Do they want to be the far left? Do they want to be moderate? Do they want to be, where do they want to land? I mean, it's so inauthentic to me to hear, like, we need to find our own. How are we going to create somebody out of thin air? First, they need to find a message and figure out who they are, and then figure all that out.
So it wasn't healthcare access. It wasn't housing affordability. It wasn't childcare affordability. It wasn't having, assistance in your home for the, that sandwich generation. None of those things.
While she's correct, those points were not emphasized whatsoever. Not whatsoever. While some of the left, I want to say, does stand for those things, does fight for those things, it's not emphasized, and it's not shown really being acted upon very much at all. Establishment Democrats are seemingly so busy during elections trying to win over moderates and moderate Republicans who maybe weren't big fans of Trump, that they didn't even try to advocate for their own base and what they wanted and what their needs were. And I think he's right. We do swing back and forth between, do we want to be the far left? Do we want to be more moderate? We can't even find a solid, and by we, I mean as the establishment, the politicians, the people in charge, can't even find a solid standing ground to run on. If your running argument is, yeah, I don't know about taxing rich people or trying to lower prices at the grocery store, but at least we don't want to kill gay people. I mean, that's good. Please don't kill gay people. We like to live. However, the bar is so low. The bar is on the ground. That is dirt bar. I'm not saying that messaging and marketing isn't important, and that's something that Democrats are historically really bad at. But first, create and fight for policies that people want, and then market and message for them. After you can't just say, well, I would like to do this. No. Do it. Make the moves, fight for the policy, fight for what the people want in this world, in this country, and then tell them about it, and they'll talk about it because you're actually doing it.